Hey guys, Nuan here with Movie Slinger Reviews. Now I know BlacKkKlansman is a bit old, but I only recently managed to watch this. And it's a bit of a slow week, there's not many interesting movies releasing this weekend. Yeah, I know Mortal Engines is coming out, but I'd rather talk about this movie instead. BlacKkKlansman is directed by Spike Lee and stars John David Washington as Ron Stallworth, who was in real life the first African-American detective in Colorado Springs, and the story follows this detective as he infiltrates the local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan, which the Klan members like to call the organization, because it sounds more peaceful. On his first day as an undercover detective, Ron sees an advertisement in the newspaper to join the KKK. He calls the number in the ad pretending to be a white American. He is so convincing with his accent and his racist remarks that the president of the local chapter of the KKK invites him over to a meetup. Now, Ron is obviously not white, so he asks his co-worker Flip Zimmerman, played by Adam Driver, to meet the Klan in person. So they work out an arrangement. Ron would talk over the phone while Flip would show up for Klan meetings to build up this relationship with the Klan. They eventually begin to suspect that the more radical members of the Klan may be planning some kind of attack on the African-American civil rights groups. So they want to figure out what these plans are and put a stop to it. Now, this is a very suspenseful movie, especially during Flip's undercover sequences, where not only does he have to convince the Klan members that he's one of them, but also that he's Ron Stallworth, the guy on the phone. And Ron doesn't make it easy either. He makes a rookie mistake and tells the Klan his real name, which undercover detectives should never do. He also has a relationship with Patrice, who's the head of the Black Student Union, that the radical Klan members are targeting. So the tension comes from the audience wondering whether Ron and Flip can stop the attack before the Klan members figure out that they're really cops. This movie is also incredibly funny at times. Spike Lee doesn't just masterfully build up suspense, but he also uses humor to break up the tension. Ron's phone calls are hilarious. He has so many racist ideas that he eventually gets to talk to the Grand Wizard of the KKK, David Duke, played by Topher Grace. There's long conversations where the two of them discuss politicians being anti-white or Jewish conspiracies in Hollywood, and basically lamenting the fall of white America. And the whole time, David Duke has no idea that Ron is black. These sequences are endlessly entertaining, and even some of the police officers in Ron's department are listening in and laughing. John David Washington is great as Ron Stallworth. He's really likable and very funny. He sounds just like his father sometimes. I like how they portrayed this character. He believes in the law and he thinks that by being smart and through non-violent means, African Americans can eventually get to an equal footing with the rest of America. Ron's girlfriend Patrice doesn't believe that. Laura Harrier, who plays Patrice, gives a good performance. She thinks that the police is actually upholding the racist system. Ron is trying to convince her otherwise, and this creates some drama between them. Adam Driver is good as Flip, although he doesn't get to flex his dramatic muscles that much. But he is very funny in the scenes where he has to act racist in front of the Klan members. There's also a lot of tension when Felix, one of the crazier Klan members, begins to suspect that Flip may be lying. This Felix character is a despicable, disgusting human being. It's a great performance by Jasper Parkkonen. He was really impressive. Felix and his wife are so racist that they dream about shooting black people. This is disturbing, but the way it's presented, with its sarcastic tone, actually makes it sound funny, because these people are so blissfully ignorant about other races, and they keep repeating the same myths and fears about African Americans taking over the country. It's sad, it's disturbing, but it is funny how dumb some people can be. And there's people in Sri Lanka that think the same way, that have a similar racist mindset. I can definitely see the relevance of this movie and its themes in my home country. While these Klan members are despicable, it is very funny to watch them geek out at meeting the Grand Wizard David Duke, played by Topher Grace. His performance was surprisingly comedic and is used very well to break up the tension. The interactions with Ron over the phone and later on when he meets him in person are incredibly funny. One of the more emotionally moving scenes is where Patrice and her student union is organizing this civil rights rally where Harry Belafonte recounts the public lynching of Jesse Washington. During this sequence, the movie also cuts to Flip being initiated into the Klan, which finishes with the KKK watching an old movie called The Birth of a Nation, which demonized black people. So obviously the Klan members are eating popcorn and having fun watching it. This scene was very effective in showing how each side of this racial divide saw the other. Conclusion: the performances were great and John David Washington is showing a lot of promise for the future. I love the jazz music influenced theme by Terence Blanchard. It felt appropriate for the time period and also for the subject matter. Spike Lee does a great job of balancing the suspense and the humor. It's a well-directed movie. The filmmakers are telling a story that is very relevant even today. The movie finishes with footage from the Charlottesville protests, which was a very shocking closing, but I felt it was needed to really make this story hit closer to home. So, if you're interested in the civil rights movement or you just want a suspenseful undercover cop drama, definitely get BlacKkKlansman on Blu-ray or stream this online. So, have you watched this movie? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section and don't forget to like and subscribe. Movie Slinger out.